Okay. So are you excited for today's session? Yes? Coding using AI? How many of you are excited for today's session? Let me know in the chat box. Yes. Excited, super excited. Great, guys, great. Yes, I want that energy throughout the session, okay? Yes. Okay. Great. Right. So before starting the session, let me know, am I completely audible and visible? Like it's very clear, right? We see in the chat box so that I can get it very clear. Yes. We see. Great, guys, great. Okay. So, okay, before starting the session, one more thing. How many of you have the coding background and how many of you are very new to coding? Okay, new coding background. Okay, great. New to coding. Okay, new. Many of you are very new to coding. That's great. Okay. Right, no coding. Okay, no problem. Right, new. Okay, so are you interested in coding? Yes, all the new members, are you interested in coding? Okay, all the professional members can also tell me, are you still interested in coding? Yes, interested. Yes. Yes, if I can understand, you will surely understand it, don't worry. Yes. Okay, right. Great. That's very great. Okay, so let's get started with the session and let's see what we have in today's session, okay? Just give me a second. I'll quickly share my screen and I'll show you the PPT. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible. Yes? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Right. So welcome everyone to this coding using AI. You will be unlocking the power of AI in coding. Okay? Yeah. So before we begin, if you have joined from your phone, it's absolutely okay, right? I will be just explaining you certain things today. So if you have joined through your phone, it's absolutely fine. There's no issue with that, okay? And as a part of today's session, learn right now and practice later, okay? You have to learn right now and practice later. You have to be stay full focused throughout the session and you have to practice it later. Recordings of this session will be uploaded in the LMS after the session is completed. Clear? Clear everyone? The recordings will be uploaded after the session is completed. Now, we will be focusing on delivering maximum value per minute in today's session. Please note all your questions and we will be answering it in the Q&A session. Your questions will not be answered in today's session. Why? Because we are here to deliver the maximum value per minute. Right? We don't want any long interruptions between the delivery of the valuable thing which we have brought for you. Right? So all your doubts will be getting cleared, but they will get cleared in the Q&A session. Okay? You can note it down and you can ask it in the Q&A session. Clear? Right. So now get ready to learn all about coding using AI. Right? So yes, everyone is ready. Is everyone ready? Yes. Are you excited? Are you excited to get started with the session? Yes. Ready. Excited. Great, guys. Great. That's very great. Yes. Okay. Moving forward. Right. So, what if I told you that your coding companion would generate, optimize, and debug your code all in real time? Okay, all in real time you are able to generate codes, optimize them, and then you are able to debug them at one place. Isn't it interesting? Isn't the AI powered world interesting? Yes. Okay. So let's see how we can have this. So for all the coding background people, I have this question: how many of you have struggled with finding the right syntax, or debugging your code, or even starting with a new language, or even converting your code from one language to another? Also, for people who have interest in coding but are not able to get started with coding, okay? Have you found it difficult how to get started, what I have to learn, how to build logic, how to have the logic building skills and all? Yes? Do you have this doubt in your mind? Guys, in the chat box, yes or no? Yes. Find me difficult, okay? Yes. Great. Okay, so I am here to explain each and everything and how you can modify your findings, how you can optimize your finding by going to a right place and making your codes with AI. Okay, how can you utilize AI in your coding skills? Right? Okay. So let's move further and let's see what we have today. Right. So I will be starting from the very basics. Why? Because I know most of you are very new to coding. So I will be taking each and every one of you to a same page. Right? So I know most of you will find it like, you are teaching very basics and what are you teaching, right? So I will be, teaching in a way that each and every one can be on the same page. Right? Okay. So let's get started and let's see what we have the very first thing today. Right. So, coding using AI. How can this be helpful? Okay, how can coding using AI be helpful? From where you can take help of coding, using AI. It helps you to get started and learn new concepts and generate templates. Okay. For example, for all those who are new to coding, they must be having a curiosity where to get started, how to get started. Okay. What is, for example, you want to learn Python. So what is Python programming? Okay. What comes under Python programming and what we have to learn and how we have to get started. Okay. So it helps you to get started and learn those new concepts. Right. And after that, you can also generate codes and generate templates using AI. Clear? Secondly, it speeds up your coding process. For example, it takes a lot of time to, think on a logic and create that logic, right? But with the help of AI, you can, create that logic in a matter of minutes, right? If you couldn't, make the full logic here, you can just have a reference or an idea of that logic. So logic building basically becomes very easier with the help of AI, right? I will be demonstrating each and every part. I will be taking all most of the tools here, okay, which can help you at the most, right? I will be telling you how we can generate code, how we can explain that particular piece of code, how we can generate document for that code, okay? Then we will be learning how we can debug that code, okay? How we can optimize that particular code, and also we will be learning how we can convert one code to another language, one coding language to another coding language. So I have told you 6 things. These 6 things I will be teaching you in today's session. Clear? Clear, everyone? Yes, right? Yes, in the chat box. All are with me and all are happy with the agenda. Right, yes, in the chat box? Yes. Great, guys, great. Yes. Okay. Please repeat. Okay, I will be repeating the agenda. I will be taking you through the tools and, prompts and techniques, how you have to get started, how you have to generate your codes. Secondly, how you have to, first how you have to generate codes, how you have to debug your codes, how you have to optimize your code, how you have to create your document, code conversions, right? Yes? Clear, everyone? Okay, great. Now just a second. Yes. So we will be also learning how you can explain your code. So these are the 6 things there. Yeah? Okay. So let's move further. Okay. So basically, AI doesn't replace coders. It enhances your capabilities, turning you into a 10x developer. Clear? So AI don't replace coders. Okay. A human touch is always needed in the codes that AI provides. Okay. A human touch as in, you have to review that code is right or wrong, okay? And if that code is right, then you have to review that it is optimizable or not. If that code can be optimized in a more, simplest form, you have to optimize that code and then you have to use it. So review by the human being is very, very important in each and every code generated by AI. Clear? Clear, everyone? So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any knowledge about coding. If you're making AI to generate a code, you should have a knowledge of coding. Okay. Now how you will gain that knowledge? You can gain that knowledge by AI only. Clear? So I will be telling you how you have to get started with coding, how you have to, apply that knowledge on coding, and how you have to debug your codes. Clear? Right. Okay. So let's get started and see how AI can make the metaverse of coding easier. Yes? So are you guys ready to dive in the metaverse of coding with AI with me? Yes? Are you guys ready? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's be interactive, guys. Okay, you can just drop your replies in the chat box, and I am seeing your chat box here. Okay. Yes. Great, guys. Okay. Yes. So firstly comes your large language models like ChatGPT that can assist you in breaking down complex concepts and guiding you step by step. Okay. So for all of you, let's take all of you as the very beginner to coding, right? No prerequisite required. You are all beginner to coding. Now, for you, the complex concept here is how to get started. Okay. And I want to learn this particular programming, how to get started and what to learn, right? The image is not loading here. It is the image of ChatGPT. So the very first thing we are using is the ChatGPT. Okay, you can use different large language models here. What does your large language model means? Your large language models means your ChatGPT, your Gemini, Claude AI, okay, Perplexity. These are all your large language models. Okay, Microsoft Copilot, right? Okay. So let's go to ChatGPT and let's see what we can have, right? One second. So you just have to go to your ChatGPT. Clear? This is our ChatGPT interface. How you have to access your ChatGPT. I hope most of you know how you have to access your ChatGPT, right? Yes? In the chat box, guys? Yes. Okay. That's obvious. You should know that. No? Okay. You just have to go to, just search in the chat box, ChatGPT. Just search in the search bar. And this is OpenAI's ChatGPT. You just have to go here, or you can go to chatgpt.com as well. Okay, and it will open the interface of ChatGPT for you. Clear? Okay. Now it has already opened here for me, so I'll just cross this one. Right. So the very first thing, okay, a non-coder should do is to understand what a programming language is. Okay. So I'll just try to give a prompt that what is a programming language. Explain me like a 5-year-old kid. Why I have returned this? Explain me like a 5-year-old kid. Okay, why I have returned this? I have returned this to have the simplest explanation this large language model can give to us. Right? The simplest explanation, so that it will be very easier for us to understand what it is actually trying to explain us. Right? So let's give this prompt and let's see what it is bringing. Right. So let's try to understand this. A programming language is like a special set of instructions that tells a computer what to do. Okay, it's a special set of instructions that tells computer what to do. Imagine you are giving a robot simple steps like walk forward, jump. Similarly, a programming language lets people give instruction to the computers so they can do things like show videos, play games, solve problems, just like telling your toys how to move or walk. A very good explanation, right? A very good explanation. Can you all see my screen, guys? The ChatGPT screen where I have given the prompt and the explanation. Yes? Okay. Uma, please try to pin my this thing. ChatGPT screen. Okay. Right. So this is a very simplest explanation. Programming language is a set of instructions, right? Is it a simplest explanation? Let me know in the chat box. Are you happy with the explanation? Have you got what it's explaining to you? Yes? Everyone? Yes. Okay, good. Now, my second question is, now I have got it cleared that what is programming language. Now, my second question is, what is Python programming? Okay, what is Python, C++, and Java programming? So, I'll just write it. What is Python, Java, and... Stop generating. Okay, you just have to click here, stop generating. Copy this, paste it here. What is Python, Java, and C++ programming languages? So it is giving us a detailed explanation like a 5-year-old kid only. Why so? Because we have written at the starting only, okay? That explain me like a 5-year-old kid. So it has taken it in its memory, right? So Python, Java, and C++ are our popular programming languages, but each has its own style and purpose. So the Python's purpose is given, Java's purpose is given, and C++ purpose is given, right? So for example, you want to dig in Python more. So just write here, explain me more about Python. Okay. And not only Python, you can have it for HTML, for SQL, okay, any technical thing you want to learn, right? So it has started giving us the key pointers of Python programming language, that it is easy to learn and read, it is a high level language, then it is versatile and used everywhere, right? So most of you, you have a doubt like what is high level language, okay? So it is given here, high level language means it takes care of many complicated things for you, like managing memory, and you can focus on solving problems rather than worrying about how the computer works internally, right? And if you have any doubt about this particular point also, okay, high level language, you didn't got what high level language means. So explain me second pointer in brief, right? So So we can have this also here. It is about high-level language. Now it has started explaining you about high-level language. So you can see how you can learn about theoretical concepts with the help of ChatGPT and your large language models. Yes? Yes? Are you happy how you can learn these theoretical concepts with the help of these large language models? Let me know in the chat box, guys. I am waiting for your replies. Yes. Okay. Now you have understood what is Python. Okay. Now how to get started with Python programming? So just write simply that question. How to get started with Python programming. Now, as you are a beginner, okay, as you are a beginner. So, as a beginner. Now, let's see what it comes up with, right? So, it has first told us to download and install Python. Okay, download and install Python first to practice your Python programming. Then, if not installing, installing Python, then you have to set up your code editor. Code editor is like your VS Code or your Jupyter Notebook, in which we can code for Python. Okay, yes. Then you have to write your first program, you have to learn your basics, okay? Then you have, in basics, you have variables, data types, basic operators, conditions, then we have loops, okay? And then we can also use online resources, practice on coding platforms, build simple projects, okay? Then we can join Python communities, learn libraries, and then we can keep practicing. So this is a very good, steps to get started with Python. Do you find it interesting? Yes, are these steps important according to you? Let me know in the chat box. Yes. Okay, yes. They are really very important. Yeah. You have to get started with downloading Python first. If you will not download it, then how you will, only learning will not make any sense. You have to do your practical implementations there, right? So yes, doing practical implementations, first you have to install Python, you have to set up your IDE, then you have to write your first Python program. After that, you have to start learn the basics of Python programming. Clear? And then you can, explore more by using online resources. Then we have also, coding platforms like LeetCode, HackerRank, Kaggle. So basically, we can practice our coding on these platforms. Okay? And then we can also build simple projects. So likewise, you can do this. Now, if I want to know what is the syllabus of Python programming. Okay. So, let me know the syllabus of Python programming. Basics of Python programming, because we have basic Python, we have advanced Python, we have basic, intermediate and advanced Python, we have Python for development, we have Python for data science. It's really very, vast thing. Python is a very vast thing, okay? So it depends on which field you have to go. If you have to go to machine learning and data science, you have to learn Python for machine learning and data science. If you have to go to development with Python programming, then you have to learn development, Python for development thing, okay? So we just want to learn the basics of Python programming. So I am specifying that, okay? That I want the syllabus for basics of Python programming, and I'll press enter. No. Yes, introduction to Python. Then it will basically give us the whole syllabus that we need to cover in basics of Python programming. Then variables, data types, basic input output. Okay. After that we have operators in Python. Right? We have operators in Python. Control flow, loops. Then we have functions. Okay. Data structures. So this is not only about Python. Okay, this is not only about Python. If you have to get started with HTML, if you have to get started with C++ or any other coding language, right? If you want to get started with SQL also, you can just follow these particular steps. Okay, these are the steps a beginner should do before getting started with learning. Why? Because you get clear with each and everything there. Okay, you already know what things you are going to learn. Right? You get an overview of what are you going to learn. So, are you guys finding it interesting how you have to get started with these programming language and how you have to search for it, how you have how can you do it from the very start, right? Okay, great guys, great. Right. So this is the syllabus for Python, basics of Python programming. What we have here, introduction to Python. Then we have variables and data types. Then we have basics, inputs and outputs, basics of input and output. Then we have operators in Python, control flow, loops, functions, data structures, strings, file handling, exception handling, modules and libraries. Then we have object-oriented programming. And after that, we have some basic Python libraries and frameworks. So this is the way you have to. Now, suppose you want to have the timeline. This is the very last question for this large language model. Okay, to get very started. So yes, I am having this. So basically, you want to get a timeline. How many days or how many months I will be taking to complete this whole basic Python programming course. So what is the estimated timeline to complete this basic Python programming course? Yeah, so it has given us the estimated. Obviously, it depends, it varies from person to person. Okay, how many time you are getting and how many time you are willing to give to this particular course, right? So, for the introduction to basic Python, basics of introduction to Python and basics, you will be having 5 to 7 hours. It has given you a weekly plan. Okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and every week you need to spend at least 5 to 7 hours. Okay, if it is 7 hours, then 1 hour on a daily basis. Right? So likewise, you can do it. You can learn Python according to you. Clear? So introduction to Python. Then we have this second week is control flow. Third week is functions. Fourth week is data structures. Then we have string manipulation. Then we have exceptional handling, object-oriented programming, final projects. Okay, so it will basically be a 7 to 8 weeks program and approximately 40 to 50 hours to complete. Clear? Okay. So, it basically depends on the prompt that you are given. Okay. I am using the normal version of GPT only. It is not the pro version that I am using. Clear? It is the normal version that every user gets the access. The 3.5. Clear? GPT 3.5 I am using right here. Clear? So you will be getting the information based on the prompts you are giving. Right? So guys, are you very clear with each and every part which I have told you right now? Yes? Yes. Great. Okay, so did you find it very clear and interesting till now? Because I have a lot of things to share today in today's session. Yes, it is clear. Okay. Yes, clear. Yes, absolutely. Okay, definitely clear. Move ahead. Okay, so let's move ahead and let's move forward. Right. Okay, so this was about our large language model. Clear? Now, these are the basic questions you can ask to your large language model. I have already demonstrated it. Okay, from very start to the end. In the sense from what is programming language to the timeline I can have for Python, basics of Python programming. Okay, so these are for the different domains, like how to get started with programming. Can you explain the basics of Python programming? Then we have created a beginner level JavaScript project for a to-do list app. You can also do this. Okay, how do I start learning machine learning with Python? You can also generate a HTML, simple HTML login page template, and what is recursion and coding. So basically, you can learn concept also. You can make it generate also. You can have an idea with the GPT model also. Clear? So it works according to you, right? Okay. Now, moving forward. Yes. Whether you are learning a new language or stuck on a concept, these models provide immediate guidance to you. You are just a prompt away. Okay? When you just give a prompt and give it to the large language model, it gives you the immediate guidance then and there itself. Right? If you are stuck somewhere, you need not to search here and there. You just have to put it on GPT and it will help you out. Right? Okay. So let's now generate a code. Okay, it's time to generate a code. So are you all with me to get started with how to use coding for AI, AI for coding, and how to generate code? Yes? Are you with me and excited to generate the code? Yes. Okay, great guys. Great. Okay, so now let's generate a code using AI. Write me a code to find whether a number is prime or not. So I hope all of you are aware that what is a prime number? Yes? Let me know in the chat box very quickly what is a prime number. What is a prime number, guys? Yes. A number which is divisible by which are divisible by 2 itself. Divisible by exactly 2 factors. Okay? And not more than that. And what are those 2 factors? The number itself and 1 and the number itself. Yes, true. So A prime number is a number which is exactly divisible by two factors. And what are the two factors? 1 and the number itself. Okay. For example, 2 is a prime number because 2 is divisible by 1 and 2 is divisible by 2. Okay. 5 is a prime number because 5 is divisible by 1 and 5 is divisible by 5 itself. Clear? Clear, everyone? Yes, everyone knows now what is a prime number? Yes? Okay. Right. So now let's generate this code. Let's generate this code on our GPT. So I'll just copy this, that right in your code. It is just a second. Yes. Okay. So I'll go for a new chat. Okay, I'll go for a new chat and I'll post it here. Write me a Python code. Let's go for a Python code. Okay. And I'll press enter here. So it has wrote a Python code for me. Do you need to tell the model that what is a prime number or what is the logic here? Did you do that? Did you do that? Yes? Did you told the model that it is what is the logic? No, right? I'll quickly open the Colab notebook and I'll show you. Colab notebook is where you can practice your Python programming. Okay? I quickly open this Colab notebook, a new notebook. Okay, so you can practice your Python programming in your Google Colab also. Right, so I'll just go to connect. It's connecting. Till then, I'll just copy this code and I'll just paste it here and I'll run it here. Okay. Now, it is asking me to enter a number. Let me enter 5 and press enter. Okay. 5 is a prime number, right? Can you see the code is working absolutely fine here? Right? We didn't give it any logic. We didn't, made it clear that what is a prime number and what we need and what we don't. Right? Let's try it again and let me write 25. Okay, 25 is not a prime number. Okay, 25 is not the prime number. Why? Because it is divisible by 5. Okay, 25 itself and 1. So we have 3 factors here. Okay. How we are entering the code? I have just entered the prompt here. Okay. Then I got the code. I just copied the code from here. Here is copy code option. I just copied the code. I went to colab.google. Okay. Here you can practice your Python programming. You just have to click on open Colab. It will open an interface where you have to go to new notebook. Okay. Once you go to new notebook, an interface will open like this here. This is a Colab notebook for you. Okay. You just have to paste the copied code in this and you have to click on this run button. Clear. And it is running now. So if I enter 10 here, 10 is not a prime number. Why? Because it has factors like 1, 2 and 5 and 10 itself. Right? So you have 4 factors. Right. So clear everyone how you can generate code with the help of large language model? Yes? Yes. It doesn't, like if you want to practice it in VS Code or if you want to practice it in Jupyter Notebook or if you want to practice it in Colab, it works very fine with all the things. Okay, you just need to explain once to open Colab. Right. Okay, I've cancelled my Colab. I have gone to new search bar. I have written here colab.google. Okay, this is the link. I'll share the link in the chat box as well. Okay. Yeah, if it is asking you to log into your Google account, you have to do so. This is my Chrome and I have already logged into my Google account. Okay, so I need not to log in here. Right? I'll just go to open Colab. Okay. Once I go to open Colab, it will have an interface like this. Welcome to the Colab. Okay. I'll go to new notebook. Once I click on new notebook, it will open a new notebook, a new coding notebook for me. Right? Now it's clear, right? You can just click to connect. And here, once it gets connected, you can just paste your code here and it will run like that. I hope the Colab thing is very clear till now. Yes? Okay, great. Right. So till now, each and everything is clear, guys? Each and everything is clear? Right? Yes? No? Don't know, maybe? Yes. Clear, very clear. Very clear. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Right. So, moving back, we have created a code here. Okay, do you want me to create another code? Okay, do you want me to create another code? Right? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So, what about creating a code for pattern printing? How many of you know about pattern printing? Anyone? Okay. Some of you know, some of you don't. Okay. So I will be telling you. Right. For example, I'll just show you here. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. So pattern printing is what? For example, we need to print a pattern like this. Okay. What I am printing right now, can anybody tell me what is this? Do you want to print this pattern with the help of coding? Do you want to print this pattern with the help of coding? Yes? Okay. Before that, let us print a simpler one. Okay. Just a second. If I like this. Okay. So before that, I want to print a pattern like this. You're getting my point, right? What I am trying to print here. These are all called pattern printings in Python. Okay? Not only in Python and coding. You can print these patterns in Java, C++, okay, any other coding language also. So let's try to print this. Okay, this is basically a right angle triangle. Okay, you must have seen right angle triangle, right? Yes? Are you all aware with right angle triangle? Yes? Okay, so this is that pattern. So let's try to print it. Okay. Let's try to have code of printing this particular pattern. Just a second. Yes. So write me a code to write me a code in Python to print the following pattern. Okay. And I'll paste my pattern here. This is the pattern I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, this is the pattern I was talking about. I'll just give this prompt. Let's see. Okay. So it has given us the code. Let's try this code. I'll just copy the code. Just a second. Yes. I'll copy the code. I'll go to my Google Colab. Okay. And then I'll paste the code here and I'll run it. Okay. I'll run it. Can you see the pattern? Yes. Can you see the pattern? Now, what will you do? What will you do if you want to change these number of rows according to the user's input? What will you do? Let me know in the chat box, guys. What will you do? If you want these row numbers, that is 4. Okay, the 4 is here, right? Already defined. What will you do if you want these row numbers according to the user's preference? That I wanted 5, you wanted 3, someone wanted it 7. So what will you do for that? Yes, we will modify the loop. Okay, but shall we do it by our own or let's ask GPT to do that? What shall we do here? What shall we do here? Ask GPT to do that? Yes? Okay. If you know, if you can, change it by your own, you can do it by your own, right? But if you are not getting the logic, how to make it a user input, so then you can ask GPT for sure. I am now using GPT. Why? Because I want to explain you how it works, right? So I will be giving here a prompt that make it a code for user input. Okay. And I'll press enter. Let's see what it prints. Yes. Now what it is doing, it is asking the user that enter the number of rows. Clear? Let me just copy this code. Okay. And let me go to my Colab. I'll have another code box here and I'll paste it here. Okay. And I'll run this code. Clear? Now it is asking me to enter the number of rows. Clear? Now if I do it 10 for suppose, you can see we have got the pattern in 10 rows. Right? If I run it again and if I paste it like 25 rows, it has printed me 25 rows. Clear? Yes? If you change the number here also, it will do. Okay, but what if this is the backend code? Okay, these are the backend codes. You can't each and every time change the backend, backend inputs which you have coded, right? So you have to make it like a user input so that the user can put it as per their preference. Clear? Great. So did you find this pattern printing interesting? Yes? Did you find this pattern printing interesting? Yes. Okay. One more pattern is left. So do I, do I share that pattern also? The triangle one? Yes. Do you want to explain me that triangle one also? Yes. Okay. So let's try that triangle pattern as well. Okay. So I'll just copy this line, I'll paste it here, and I'll paste the triangle pattern. Okay. Okay, so basically you have to make this triangle pattern. Just have to give spaces. Okay, enter. Now it is not coming as the perfect triangle. Okay, now does it seem to be a perfect triangle? Yes, I guess. Right? Okay, so let's post it here and let's see what happens. Yes, so this is a pyramid pattern, right? It is giving us the code for the pyramid pattern. Right, it is also giving us the explanation for the code. Right? So I will be telling you how you can get the explanation as well. We are just generating codes for now. Okay, we are just simply generating codes for now. So I'll click on code. Okay, it has come at starting. Okay, I'll just paste the code here. Clear. And I'll run this here. Okay, and I'll have 20 rows to suppose. So can you see how beautiful pyramid we are having now? Yes? Yes, guys? So similarly, you can generate codes with the help of your large language models. Right? Okay, so all are with me? Yes? Right? MB in the chat box if you find it mind blowing. MB. Great guys, great. MB. Okay. That's very great. Right. Okay. Now, let's move to our next concern. Okay, this was all about generating code. Okay, this was all about generating code. Now, the next thing we have is explain code. Okay, you have generated the code, but did you understood what I did in the code? Okay, did you understood exactly what we did in the code? Let me know in the chat box. We just generated the code, we copied it, we pasted it, and we got the output. But did we actually understood what happened in the code? Yes, guys? No, right? No, we didn't got what we did in the code exactly. So what you have to do here is, just have to go to GPT. Okay, this was our last code, right? This was our last code. I'll just copy it. Okay. You don't have to go to a new chat, you can just write it, explain, okay, and it will explain you the code in a brief, okay. But if you have a new piece of code, okay, and you are not able to understand what code it is, so just write explain me the below code line by line. Okay. If you want the explanation of the code line by line, that what actually is happening in the code, you just have to write this prompt and you have to enter the code and press enter. Clear? So it has broken the whole code step by step. Clear? How beautifully it is explaining. You can see in a step by step manner. Right? Okay. So let's see what we have what we did here. First is we have defined a function here. What is our function? Our function is to print a pyramid. Okay. And what will be our attribute here? Our attribute is the rows. Clear? So the DEF is the syntax that we write to define a function. Right? So it is given here that function definition. This defines a function called print pyramid, which takes one parameter. This is a parameter. Okay. This is not an argument, sorry. This is a parameter. So this parameter represents the number of rows of the pyramid. Right? Like we write 20. Okay. So we have got 20 rows. If we write 10, we will be getting 10 rows there. Clear? So we have defined a function here. What next we have did? The next is we have applied for loop here for I in range rows. Okay, so what we did here? We have applied a loop. Why a loop? A loop because we want it to go in looping manner for 20 rows. Right? We don't have to print it 20 times. Okay, individually. We want a loop that can iteratively go till 20 rows one by one. Here, so that is why we are using loop. So this loops run from 0 to row minus 1. Okay. Right. The variable I represents the current row number. So if the row number is 1, then 2, then 3, I is your iterable. Right? I iterates row by row. Okay. And the range is your number of rows. Clear? Okay. Then we have here printing leads. Okay. So how we have to print? We have to print like one space, then star, then row minus I minus 1. This is the logic. Okay. This is the main logic. Right? And this is the explanation of the whole logic. The expression this creates a string of spaces. Okay? This is basically creating the string of spaces. Okay? And what is rows minus I minus 1? This determines how many spaces to print before the stars. Okay, to the center of the pyramid, and this decreases as you go down each row because fewer spaces are needed that lower row. So, guys, is it very clear how we are getting step-by-step explanation of the code? Okay, and I hope you all are getting a certain idea that what we did in the code, right? Are you getting that idea, guys? Yes. Yes. Great. Yes. Okay, great. So similarly, it has given us the example of the execution. Clear? Okay, great. Right. So this is how you can ask the explanation of your code. Okay, a simple explanation is already given in the previous course. Okay, that it is using for printing leading spaces. Then you have to print stars. Then this was the logic for printing the spaces. You have to print spaces as well. Clear? Then we have to print the stars. So this is the logic for print the stars. Right? Then second is get the number of rows from the users. So these are the some comments that helps you to these are some comments that helps you to understand the code. Okay. I hope it's very clear how to get the explanation for your code. Okay. Now, create document for the code. Okay, create document. Now, what does you mean by document, guys? Why is it important to create a documentation for the code? Why creating documentation for a code is important? Let me know in the chat box. Okay, to have an idea about the code. Okay, and for later reference. Okay. Yeah, for the reference for somebody else to understand that particular code. Yes. To understand the code, what it is doing. Yes. Okay. Yes, so basically the general idea here is, you provide a documentation for a certain code. Why? For some other person to understand very well that what is the code doing here. Okay, what is the code doing in the first block? What is the code doing in the second block? Right? So that is why documentation of codes are really very important to understand what the coding is about. Okay, and what the coder is trying to do in that particular steps. Clear? Okay. For example, if someone is of non-coding background and you provide without documented code to them, will they be able to understand that particular piece of code? No, right? It is a very tedious task to understand that particular piece of code. Right? So that is why we create documentation, not only for the non-coders, also for the coders. Okay. For example, you are working in a company. Okay. And without documentation, you just pass on your project to some other employee. Okay, other coder. Okay. So will he or she be able to understand what you have done in the code? They will understand, surely, but they will take a lot of time to understand that particular code. Okay, so this is the reason creating document for a code is important, right? Now, how will you create a document for a code? Okay, so again going to ChatGPT here, and again taking this pyramid example, right? Just a second. Okay, this was our code. I'll go to a new chat. I'll paste it here. And I'll write create a documentation for the above code. Documentation is nothing but the explanation of the already presented code. Okay. So it is now, see, it is creating the documentation of the code, right? It is first it's print parameter. Okay, that is the function. Okay, the parameter is this, the logic is this. Okay, then the main program flow is this. Okay, and the example output is this. You can use it like this. Okay, and the edge cases. So do you think that this documentation is very enough to let the other coder understand what we are trying to tell you? Not other coder, let the other non-coder people understand what we are trying to do here. Yes? Yes, if we are continuing in the same chat, you can just put the prompt like for the above code, create the documentation, okay? But for now, I am trying for a good, output, I am trying to switch to a new chat, okay? So that is why I am not able to, do that from the previous code, create the documentation. If you are continuing in the same chat, you can do that, so there's no problem in it. Clear? Okay, now. Yes, so see, functions are here, okay, logic are here, return value is here, the main program flow is here, okay, example output is here, then we have usage and edge cases. So do you find it interesting, guys? Write MB in the chat box if you find it interesting. Yes? MB, great guys, great. MB, mind blowing, okay. MB, okay. Thank you guys, thank you. So this is the way you can create documentation. Now this was just for a very basic code. This code is a very basic code, right? You can have this code, you can, organizations have a very big codes and, a very documented code. Why? Because they are trying to build some application or some software, right? So in that case, you basically have a fully documented code, right? So I am just giving you an example how it works. Right? But it is a lot more than what you are able to see here. Right? It is a lot more. Yeah? Okay. Right. So should we move forward now? Yes? Should we move forward? Yes? Okay. Just a second. We'll be moving forward. Right. Okay. So there's an a small homework for you all, right? A small homework for you all that you have to try to print the multiplication table of let's say 23. Okay. 2 into 1 equals 23 into 1 equals to 23, and likewise you have to do it till 2 into 10 equals to 23 into 10 equals to 230. Okay. So you have to do it. Right? It is a very simple and easy code. If you try to learn Python and do it with the help of AI, it will be easy. Or you want to generate it with AI, it will also be feasible. Okay? Right. Okay, so do you got the little homework which I am I have given you, right? Write a code to display multiplication table of 23. Clear? You can take the help of AI obviously and you can do it on your own. Clear? I have sent the question in the chat box. So this is a very small assignment for you all. It will hardly take 30 seconds or 1 minute to complete it. Okay? And if you are trying to learn Python and do it, it will hardly take you 1 hour to learn the concepts behind this code and then build this code. Okay, so in my suggestion, if you are learning Python and making this course, that's absolutely very good. Okay, so if you're spending half an hour or 1 hour on this particular code, it's really very helpful for you guys, so that you will be able to understand the concept behind this printing this multiplication table. It is really very easy code. Okay, write a code to display multiplication table of 23. Clear? Okay. So let's move forward now. Okay. So now the next thing is optimize your code. What do you guys mean by optimizing a code? Let me know in the chat box. What do you guys mean by optimizing a code? Yes, anyone? What do you mean by optimizing a code? Okay, yes. Improvising the code. Okay, for example, you have a piece of code. Okay, now for the new people, for the non-coders here, I will be explaining what optimizing code means. Okay, let's try to ask GPT only. What is optimizing? What does optimizing code means? Okay, let's ask to our GPT only. Okay, so basically optimizing codes refers to improving the efficiency and performance and readability of a program. Okay, what does it mean? Basically, at the backend, you write a piece of code, okay, it runs at the backend, right? So at the backend, how many execution time it takes, okay, how many memory usage it takes, okay, and is it readable and maintainable for the further usage? All these things are important to keep in mind. Right? So if you write a particular piece of code and if it can be optimized to a new piece of code, if it can be improvised to a new piece of code, then that will be a much better code. Okay? Right. So can you guys tell me some searching algorithms? Some coders here? Any searching algorithms? Okay. No searching. Okay. Let's take it in that way. Like for example, I go here and I write here that write a program in Python to search an element in a list. Okay, what is a list? A list is an a type of array. Okay, we call array as list in Python, right? So list is a collection of elements. It can be a similar type of elements or it can be a multiple type of elements. But we are having in this case we are having a sorted list. Okay. Write a Python program, write a program in Python to search an element in a sorted list of elements, right? Using linear search. Linear search is a very basic searching algorithm used to search an element in a list. Okay, are you getting my point? Are you getting a certain idea what I am trying to tell? Yes or no, guys? Write in the chat box so that I can have a clear idea. Yes. Okay, great. Yes. So I am using linear search for now. Okay, I am using linear search for now and I'll press enter. Linear search is basically your data structures algorithm. Okay, and how it works is, will be seen. How it works element by element. Okay, one element, then second, then third, then fourth, then fifth, and likewise. Clear? Yes. So here we have got the program in linear search. Okay. Now we will be writing that optimize this code a little. Clear? Okay, first we'll understand this course. Okay, it has defined the functions of linear search, right? Then it has given us the range of the sorted length of the sorted list, then the indexing, what is the target, then if the target is equal to index, then we have to return the index. If the target is index is greater than target. Okay, so basically the code is running here and it is explaining the code, right? So I'll explain you with the example. The sorted list is this. We want to find the element 7. At what index is 7 here? Okay. So output will be 3. Why 3? 0, 1 is at 0, 3 is at 1, 5 is at 2, and 7 is at 3. So it has returned the index 3 to us. Why? Because 7 is present at index 3. Getting clear? Yes? With the example, I hope it is clear now. Yes? Okay, great. I hope with the example it is clear now. Yes? Okay. Now, if we write it here that optimize the above code and I press enter. Now, it has optimized the above code here. Okay. Now, what it has done here is, see, it is giving us the two things that it has optimized. Early exit and enumerate. Clear? So in this way, it has optimized the code. Okay. Now, if I write it here, optimize the code with the best suitable searching algorithms. Okay, so we have many searching algorithms. We have linear search, we have binary search, okay, we have quick, then we have some sorting algorithms and searching algorithms, right? So if I write it here that optimize the code with best suitable searching algorithm, okay, for the scenario, which searching algorithm is best, you use that, okay? I have given the free hand to my GPT model that you do so, okay? So if I press enter here, Can you see? It has changed the searching algorithms from linear search to binary search. Okay, and it has given us the reason here that the time complexity decrease of binary search is O log n. Clear? Okay. So now we have the code of binary search. Okay. It has also given us the key advantages of binary search. Right? So we have optimized the code with the help of GPT. Okay. Understood how we can optimize the codes? Yes, no, maybe not. Guys, in the chat box, waiting for your replies. Understood. Yes. Okay, great. Understood. Maybe not. What's the doubt? See, there is a concept called the time complexity and the space complexity. Okay, you optimize your codes based on the time complexity and the space complexity. If you are very new to coding, okay, maybe it's difficult for you to understand, but the time complexity is the time taken by your code to complete one execution. And what is space complexity? The space, the memory taken by your code to complete one execution. Okay, it will take some memory and time to complete its execution, right? Okay, yeah. So that is what I mean with time and space complexity. And in searching, we have some searching algorithms to search for something in a particular list of elements. Likewise, okay. Or if we want to update the list with some element, or if we want to delete some element, okay. And indexing is like your, for example, we have this thing, okay. 1 second. Yes, we have this thing. So indexing starts with 0. This is 0th position. Okay. This is first position. This is second position. This is third position. So in Python, the indexing starts with the 0th position. Clear? Now maybe you will be getting a little idea about what am I trying to explain you. Yes. So in this code, what we did is we have given a sorted list and we have tried to find the index of this particular element. Clear? Now it is, I guess, maybe yes. Okay, for all the maybe nots. Little bit understood. That's great. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now understood. Okay. Great. Okay. So this is the way you can optimize your code. Okay. Now, for example, it was about the searching algorithms. Let's just vanish this off and let's write here. Write me a code to print to check whether a number is prime or not. This was the very first code we used, right? This was the very first code we generated, right? Now let's try to optimize this piece of code. Okay. We'll just give a prompt here that optimize the above code. Yeah. So it has optimized this code. Okay, optimizing the code doesn't mean that making the code shorter. Okay, it means we are basically reducing the time complexity and space complexity it is using at the backend. You must be thinking that the second code is very long. How we have optimized the code? That doesn't mean that. Okay, it is really very easy to understand in this code manner. Okay, these are the two key optimizations it has done as compared to the previous code. Here. Okay. So now I hope optimization is clear, guys. Yes. I'm waiting for everyone to reply in the chat box. Yes. Okay. Yes. Optimization is clear almost. Okay. As you will be working on it, right? It will be much more clear. Okay. Because coding is all about practicing, right? Once you deep dive into coding, once you start practicing, you will be learning much more things about coding. Clear? Something is clear. Okay. I'm glad at least something is clear. Okay. Yes. So as a beginner, something is very much for you right now. Okay. Once you start deep diving into it, it will get clear in a much more clearer manner. Okay. Yes. So I hope all are with me now, and let's move forward to the session. Yes. Are you all with me? Right. Yes, in the chat box. Yes. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Right. So let's move to the another thing. Debug code. Okay. What do you mean by debugging a code? What do you mean by debugging a code? Okay. To remove errors. Yes. And checking the code for the error. Yes. And yes, guys, let the answer be coming. And fix it. Yes, basically checking the code, finding errors and fixing it. Okay, this is called debugging the code. Check the code line by line and removing bugs. Okay, right. And Okay, so in this, for example, you have given a list of numbers and you have to find the largest number among among that list. Okay, so let's try to do it. Let's try to do this. Right? Just a second. Yes, let's try to do this. Okay, I will be writing a code here. I'll go to a new chat. Okay, why am I switching to a new chat every time? Is because you already know the large language model and ChatGPT basically learns from their previous inputs, right? So I don't want that to be happened and change my outputs here. So basically, I want to write a code that finds largest element in a list of elements. You got the question, right? Everyone, you got the question? Yes, guys, did you got the question what I am trying to do here? Yes, from a list of elements, I am trying to find the largest element which is present in the list. Okay. Yeah. So here is the code. Okay, here is the code. I'll just make it user input code so that the user can also input the list of numbers here. Clear? Okay, right. So let's copy this code. Let's go to Google Colab here. Okay, let's go to a new code, right? And let's paste that code here. Okay, I have pasted that code, right? Now let's check this code first. Okay, if it is right or wrong, let's check this code. Clear? Okay. So I enter a number of I'll enter a list here. A random list. Okay. A random list. I have entered it here. Okay. We have entered a list of numbers separated by spaces and not commas. Okay. I have done what? I have done with commas. So that's the error here. I'll just run it once again. Okay. And let me write a list separated by space. I'm just entering some random numbers. Okay. So we don't have to enter this bracket also. Clear? Okay. So let's simply write this thing. I am entering the list of numbers here, and I'll press enter. Now it has given us the output, that is 98. Okay, there was some error in giving the input to the code. Okay, so I have now given the right input. Okay, so it has given me the largest element in the list is 98. Clear till now? Clear what we did? We first we first had the code, then we tried to check it if it's correct or not. Yes. Now let me make a mistake purposefully. Okay, let me make a mistake purposefully. For example, let me make a mistake. Okay, let me make a mistake here. I'll just remove this. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, sorry for the glitch. Yes. So let me make a mistake here. I have removed something from here, right? I have removed something from here. Now, if I run this code, it has given me invalid syntax. Okay. This is the error I am getting. How to fix this error? I forgot what I deleted from here, right? I forgot what I deleted from here. Now, how to fix this error from here? I'll debug the code. Okay. I will debug the code. I'll just copy this code. I will then paste it. I'll just write the prompt that debug the following code. It's showing me a syntax error. Okay. I'll also specify the error so that my large language model can understand what particular type of error is it showing to me. Okay. There is type error, there is syntax error, and so many kind of errors. Right? Okay. So I'll then paste the code and I'll press enter. So yes. So basically, can you see it has given the element word here, okay, element variable here, and it has also identified that it looks like there's a syntax error in line where you update the largest variable. Okay, here we are updating the largest variable and element. So basically, we have removed this variable element. We have removed the variable which we are updating. So that's why it has given us the syntax error, and it has now debugged the code for us. So, did you find it interesting how you can, improve the mistakes with the help of ChatGPT? Yes? Right? MB in the chat box? Right? MB if you found it interesting? Yes? MB. Great, guys. Great. MB. Okay. So now, this was an example where I generated the code. I made the mistake intentionally in the code, okay, and then I debugged it, okay. Most of the time, when you write a code, okay, you don't know where you have made the mistake, okay. It just gives you an error and you have the wrong code in front of you. What you have to do, you just have to follow the same steps. You have to copy this the code, okay, and you have to write the given error, okay, that debug the following code that is showing me this type of error, and the code is given below. Okay, so you can give the code below, and you can just ask GPT with it. Clear? Clear till now, guys? Everyone? Yes. Okay. So how can we use it for bigger projects with so many files? Okay. Basically, when an IDE shows throws an error, okay, it shows you in which line you are getting the error, right? So you can try, only pasting that particular piece of code, okay, the particular block of code. You have the codes in different blocks if you are working with big projects and big files, right? So the GPT has the ability to understand what you are trying to do, okay. If that is not the case, you can just explain your code in some theoretical manner that I was trying to do this, and here is the piece of code that is throwing error to me. Clear? In that way, you can deal with large codes. Clear? Yes. Is everyone clear? Yes. Great. MB. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, MB. Okay. Now, coming to the next thing. The next thing which we have is code conversion. Okay. For example, you are learning Python right now. Okay. Someone comes and tells you, you understand Python. Now convert this piece of Python programming code to C++ code. Will you be able to do that? Will you be able to convert Python to C++? Yes, absolutely correct. You can do that using AI. That's really great. That's called your presence of mind. Great. Okay. Yes. So you can do it using AI, right? For example, we have this. Okay. We are taking the same example here. Okay. Let's take the same example, the corrected example. I'll copy the paste. I'll go to a new chat and I'll give a prompt that convert the following code. Okay. Do you want the code to be converted in single programming language, that is C++, or different programming language? Do you want it in multiple programming language or single programming language? Let me know in the chat box. Multiple. Okay. Multiple. Right. So let's have it in multiple programming language. Okay. Convert the following code in C++, Java, what else programming language we have? C. Then we have C#. Okay. And it is already there in Python. So we are converting this piece of code in 4 different languages. C, C++, Java, and C#. Clear? I'll just post this prompt here. Okay. So we have got the code in C++, we are getting the code in Java, then we are getting the code in C, and then we are getting the code in C#. Did you find it interesting, guys? Without even knowing the concept, without even knowing the syntax of each and every programming language here, just with the help of your previous code, you are able to create that particular code in multiple programming language. Right? MB? Yes? Mind blowing? Yes? Great. Okay. So where this thing comes in help to you here is basically what happens. Sometimes some people in some organization you are aware of JavaScript and HTML, CSS and all that stuff. Okay, that web stuff. And in some they are using the PHP language and all things. Okay. So sometimes it becomes difficult to understand what they are particularly doing. Right? And it is not the case with only PHP and JavaScript. It's also the case with Python, C++, Java, right? Some organizations uses Java, right? Some uses C++ as its core language, okay, and some uses Python. So there it helps you to understand the logic, okay. Syntax you will learn. So it is not very difficult to learn the syntax of a particular programming language, right? But to understand what they are particularly doing, that if you don't know C++, then it's difficult to understand what this line means, right? You can obviously ask GPT for the help, but if you can understand from one language to another, it is more easier in that way, right? Yes? Okay, so I hope it is very clear till now, guys. Right? Okay, so yes. Mind blowing? MB. Okay, thank you. Yes, great. Coming to the next thing now. Okay. Right. Now, can you guys tell me what I have displayed on the screen? What are the two logos that I have displayed on the screen? One is Gemini. Okay, you can definitely go with it. Gemini is a large language model by Google, right? So one is Gemini. And what is the other logo I am displaying on the screen? No, it is not Copilot. It is your Google Colab. Okay? It is your Google Colab. Google Colab plus Gemini. How does it sound? Your code, your code editor with AI, integrated with AI. How it sounds? Awesome? Mind blowing? Yes? So what if I tell you your Google Colab comes with integrated Gemini with it? Yes? Let's check it out. Okay, great guys. Let's check it out, your Google Colab with your Gemini. So this was my Colab notebook. This is my Colab notebook. Now it is showing us the error because we have removed element from here. Okay, I just write element here and I'll now try to run it and it will be running now. Yes? Okay, this was our previous code. Okay, now if I go to code, can you see start coding with or generate with AI? Yes? Can you see start coding or generate with AI? Yes, right? Yes. So you just have to click on generate and it will help you to generate with AI. I'll click on generate and I'll write what I'll write here? I'll write my coding question here. So what do you guys want me to cover now? What coding question should we give it to you? Okay. So let's have some interesting thing now. Yes? Do you guys want a random number guessing game? Let's generate that with the help of Gemini. Yes? How many of you are up for it? Random number guessing game. Let's code a game and let's see how it works. Yes? Okay, great. Yes. MB, me. I want. Okay. Great, guys, great. Okay. So I'll write a prompt that create a number guessing game. Okay. Create a number guessing game. Okay. If the guessed number is smaller than the actual number, print small. Okay. And if it is 1 second, and if it is larger than the actual number, it has okay. Yes. So basically, I have entered, half prompt here. I just wanted to, write here print larger, but it has understood what I meant. Okay. It has understood what I meant, right? So let's run this code and let's see. It has created the code right away. Okay. Shall we run it and see? Shall we run it and see? Yes. Yes, it's actually correct. We are doing binary search manually. Yes, right. Okay. So let's run it and let's see. Okay, guess a number between 1 to 100. Guys, guess. Guess a number between 1 to 100. The very first guess, I am putting it here. 12. Okay. Let's write 12 here. Too low. Okay. Too low. So let's write some other number, 78. Okay. Too high. What about 50? Too high. Okay, so we can guess that the number is less than 50. Okay. So guys, guess a number less than 50. 35. Okay, 35. Too high. 35 is also too high. So it is greater than 12 and less than 35. 25. Okay, 25. Too low. Okay. So the number is greater than 25 and less than 35. 29. Too low. So the number is greater than 29 and less than 35. 32. Too low. Greater than 32 and less than 35. 34. Got it. You got the number and this was 34. So did you find it interesting, guys? Yes? We have created a game here with the help of Gemini, with the help of coding and AI. Yes? Was it interesting? Was it interesting? Was it mind-blowing? Yes? MB, yes. Great response from all of you. MB. Okay. So this is the way you can use Colab with Gemini. Okay? Yeah, if you want to see the code, you can see the code. Right? Okay. Now, what else Gemini can do? If I click on here, okay, it will open a box at the right. Okay. Now we can ask certain questions here. Now, what speciality of Gemini is? It doesn't explain you very much. Okay. It gives a very short explanation. Why? To give you an idea of what we are actually doing. Okay. So, for example, if I copy this code. Okay. Wait. If I copy this loop, only this loop. Okay. And I paste it here. Just a second. Yeah. If I copy this code and I paste it here and I write, explain me this piece of code. So you can see side by side we are also getting the explanation of that code. We are also getting the sources of the explanation. Right? So if you have generated the code using Gemini, it is also giving you the explanation. Right? Now if we write here, create documentation of this piece of code. So it will be helpful for you to understand that code. Okay? So yeah, it is giving us the comments which we have to add in between. Right? That this loop continuously prompts the user for a guess until they guess the correct number. Right? So in this way, it is giving us the comments in between so that it is easier for us to understand the code. Clear how you can use Gemini with your Google Colab? Yes? Everyone? Okay. So did you find it interesting? Yes? Okay. Great response. Mind blowing. Yes. Interesting. Okay. Okay, great. Right. So similarly, you can learn things. You can also debug side by side. Okay, you can debug. Similarly, you can learn things and you can debug side by side. Clear? Okay. Now, coming on to the AI tools which we have. Okay, that gets integrated with your IDEs. What are your IDEs? IDEs are the platform where you code. Okay. What is the most famous IDE there? VS Code, right? Have you heard about VS Code? No. VS Code is the most most used IDEs. Okay, where you can code and get. Right? So I'll just show you. I'll just search for VS Code here. So that is Visual Studio Code. Okay, and it is developed by Microsoft. Right? So you can download it for your systems if you wish to have this VS Code. Please send link. Okay, I'm sending the link in the chat box. Right? So this is the VS Code thing in your developed by Windows. You can just go and download it, right? And it will get downloaded in your system. How you have to use it? I'll quickly open my VS Code and show it to you guys. Yes. So can you see my Visual Studio Code interface? Yes. This is how VS Code looks like. Okay. This is the folder that is open. Right. Coding using AI is the folder I have made for this particular thing. I'll just go to this plus icon, new file. I'll make a new file of program 1. .py. Now what is .py? .py is your extension which you put to explain that this is a Python file. If I put it as .html here, so program one becomes your HTML file, right? Here, so I'll just put a py. It is a free, free tool. This is not a tool. This is an IDE. You have to download it for your system, and you can code your codings here. Clear? Okay, so I'll put enter, and here, as you can see, my this has opened. Okay, here I can write a code. Here I can write a code here. Now, let's write a simple hello world program. Okay, print hello world. Right. Okay. I'll just save it. Don't forget to save before you execute it. Right. I'll just save it. And can you see hello world has get printed here. Clear? So hello world is the very first program one uses to code for the very first time. Right? So this is how you have to use your VS Code. Most of you who know how to use VS Code and do their programming on VS Code, now I will be telling you certain tools you can integrate with VS Code for AI to help you side by side on here itself on VS Code. Okay? Clear? So now we will be seeing some tools which can get integrated with your VS Code and help you to create your codes, to generate your codes. Right? Okay. Now, moving forward, the very first tool which we have, is your Cursor AI. Okay? The very first tool which we have is your Cursor AI. This is the link for the tool. I'm posting it in the chat box. This is the very first tool for your VS Code. I'll just go and paste this here and press enter. Okay? An interface like this will get open. Clear? So this is the AI code editor, right? This is the AI code editor. Now you have to download it for free from here, right? It is free for some executions and then it is charging some amount, okay? It has pro 2-week trial, then it has 2000 completions, it has 50 slow premium requests, then it has 200 circle small users, right? If you are, very much a hardcore coder and you like this cursor very a lot, then you can buy it for $20 per month usage. Clear? Right. So I have the free version right now. So I will be demonstrating the free version right now. Let me quickly open my cursor. Just a second. Yeah. So app gets downloaded in your system. Okay. And it's exactly the same like your VS Code. Okay. It is exactly the same like your VS Code. Let me share my screen. Right. Can you see my screen here? Yes, this is the interface of your cursor. This is not the interface of your VS Code, right? This is the file and this is the program we have made, right? Okay. So very clear how you have to use cursor. You just have to go to www.cursor.com. Then you have to download it from there and it will get downloaded in your systems and it will open like this. Clear? Is it clear, guys? Let me know in the chat box. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, mind-blowing. Okay, great. Now, mind-blowing thing will come now. Okay, mind-blowing thing is about to come. This was the program we have built in our VS Code. I'll just enter another. I'll just add another file. I'll write program2.py. Clear? I'll press enter. Now, for example, I want to write a code to build a simple calculator. But I don't know how to write any code. Okay. So what I'll do is, it is telling me Control L to chat and Control K to generate. I'll write Control K. Okay. Now it is asking me for the prompt. So I'll write here that write a simple code in Python for a simple calculator. Okay. And press generate. Right? So can you see it is generating the whole code for us? Right? We have generated the code in our GPT in our Colab. Now we are generating the code in our IDE itself. Right? Found it interesting? Yes? Now what I have to do is I just have to press a tab key or an enter. Right? The code is written here. Yes, the code is written here. Now let's try to run this code. Let's try to run this code. I have saved the file and I'll run this code. It's cursor. Cursor. Okay? Okay. Operations. Enter the first number. What the first number you want me to enter here? Let's enter 500. And enter operation. I want to do plus. And what is the second number? 700. Can you see? It is giving us the result. Okay. It has already defined the 4 operations initially. Okay. Did we write a single line of code here? Did we write a single line of code? Yes, is it? No, right? We just entered a prompt here. Now, for suppose you want to understand this block of code. Chat for Control L and edit for Control K. I'll go to chat and it will enter it will open a chat box in the right hand side. Okay, I'll enter here explain. I've selected the piece of code and I have entered explain. Right? So it has explained me that particular piece of code. Clear? How you can get the explanation of that? If I want the explanation of the whole code, I'll just Control A and I'll do Control L. Okay, now my whole code is selected. Now I'll put in explain. I'll press enter and it is giving me all the key pointers that are necessary. Right? Yes? Clear? Now, if I want to create documentation of this particular code, because I can see there are no comments added in between. So, create documentation. I did a writing mistake. But yes, it has understood and it has created a documentation for us. Right? It has given us the brief about the code. Then it has given us the comments in between the code so that we can understand what we are doing in a particular step. I hope it is very clear, guys, how we are using this. Right? Yes. Great. So did you found it interesting? You can also have a new chat here. It will open a new chat. Okay. Then you can also view the previous chats from here. It was my previous chat. Okay. You can open editor like this. Attach the side panel, then it will be attached to side panel, and in this way you can cross it. Right. So I hope it is very clear how you can use cursor.ai. Right? Yes. Okay. So did you guys found it interesting? Was it interesting and mind-blowing? Right? IMB in the chat box. Interested and mind-blowing. IMB in the chat box. MB, IMB. Great guys. Great response. Yes, great response. Right. Okay. So did you found this, did you find everything which I have taught you till now a very necessary thing? Yes? Yes. Very necessary, very helpful. Yes. Made my learning easier. Great. That is what we want, okay? Yes, obviously. Yes. Very helpful. Great. Okay, guys, great. Now, this was one program. For suppose this was for the Python. Okay, for suppose you have to create an HTML page. Okay. So I'll write login.html. Okay, now this is a HTML page. I'll write Control K and I'll write it here that okay, 1 second. Yeah. Write an HTML code. Okay. To display a login page in which we have a form and in which we have a form which contains username and password. Okay. And has a login button and a forgot password option. Now, what is my purpose of telling you this particular HTML code is that I am not saying that it works particularly with only Python language. Okay, so let's try and create this thing if it is able to create this thing. So can you see a whole login page is getting created for us? Yes. I personally don't. 1 second. Yeah. I personally don't know about HTML. Right? I personally don't know about H. I just have to press enter here. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for the glitch. Yes. So I personally don't know HTML, but let me see if this page works or not. Okay. I'll save this. And I'll run this. It will not run basically here. But if I go to preview, right, it will give me a preview for that. Okay. It is not enabled in this. Just a second. I will be showing you the page. Just a second. I have saved it. I'll go to my folder. Okay. Just a second. I'll go to this folder and I'll click on this page, login page. Yes. It should get open. Yes. Wait a second. I'll just share the screen with you all. Yeah. So, can you see the login page here? Yes. This is the same file which I have opened right now. Okay. Yeah. Can you see now? Yes. Now is it visible? The login page? Yes. So we have entered, we want a form, a login form with username, with password, with login, and then a forward password button. So isn't it amazing? Yes, isn't it amazing? We have got a form, in front of us without even knowing about HTML. Right? Interested and mind-blowing. Great. Absolutely mind-blowing. Yes? Okay, great. AMB, absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, guys, okay. It's not like that. Okay, it's not like that. All coders' job is not gone. That is not like that. Every code needs a human review. I told it at the starting of this session, it is not like that. It helps the coders by 10 times. Okay, it helps the it helps to develop the efficiency of a coder by 10 times, right? But it will not basically take your jobs. Okay, it is not possible for AI to do so. Why? Because these are very simple things which I am telling you right now. But when we do it in an organization, okay, when we do really code for the things, okay, there we need to implement a lot of logic, which mostly a human mind can only do that. You can take a reference from the AI model, obviously, okay, you can take a reference, but you can't create the whole logic with AI can't do that for you, right? You need some iterations at some process. You need some it is a very long process to work in that, right? Okay, so that is not the case. The case here is it is basically doing your efficiency, or it is basically increasing your efficiency and your productivity to 10 times. Clear? Yes. So I hope you loved this login page, right? Okay, right. So this was all about your cursor. Now let me show you more about the other tools. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Cursor AI is the one. The second tool is GitHub Copilot. Okay. Now GitHub Copilot is a very good tool. It gives you auto suggestions for a code you are writing. Okay. Auto suggestions mean, for example, you are writing a code, then it suggests you the further codes. Okay. So GitHub Copilot helps you like that. And with these tools, all of these tools, you can create document, you can debug your code, they can explain you your code, they can generate codes for you. Okay. And they also auto complete your code. So this is GitHub Copilot. It has a 30 days of free trial. Okay. But after that, it charges you like $10 per month, I guess. Okay. So if you want to enable GitHub Copilot, if for the interested person, they can just have the free trial of 30 days and they can then cancel the subscription. So no charges will be applied to them. But if you are hardcore coder, okay, and if you need GitHub Copilot on a daily basis, then you can obviously choose to pay for it. Clear? But yes, you can use Cursor instead of it, right? Then, instead of using Cursor and GitHub Copilot, you can also use Amazon Code Whisperer. Now, most of you will have doubt how to avail this Amazon Code Whisperer. You just have to, go to, let me show you. Amazon, just a second. Code Whisperer. Clear. If I go here, it is by AWS, Amazon Web Services. Now, you must be having that doubt that it is a paid service or like that. That is not the case. You just have to, make an account here. Okay, make an account here and download it in your VS Code. Okay, you can just download this Q Developer for VS Code IDE extension, and it will help you in your completing your code, asking questions about your code. Okay, so this is a free tool. This is not a paid tool. Clear? If I go to pricing, just a second. Yeah, so basically Amazon Code Whisperer is a free tool for you. Clear? Clear everyone? Yes. So you can see the free tier is free for you guys. Right? Okay. Now, so you have to make an AWS account for that, and Amazon don't charge any amount to create an account, create an AWS account. Okay, but if you use a paid, a paid thing, a paid thing by AWS, then it obviously creates an account. So if you are creating an account for this Amazon Q developer purpose only, so make sure you use this thing only. Clear? Okay. Now coming to the next thing. 1 second. Yeah. Now coming to the next thing. The next tool is Tabnine. This works same as your Code Whisperer. Okay, Amazon Code Whisperer. It is also a tool that integrates with your VS Code and other IDEs also. Right? So Tabnine is also a code. Right? Tabnine is also a code. Guys, do you also want the link of these in the chat box? Yes? Okay, some of you want the link. For Cursor, I have already shared. Okay. For GitHub, I will be sharing with you. This is the link for GitHub Copilot. If you simply search it in the Google, it will come. But I'm also sharing the link for your reference if you find it difficult. The second is your Amazon Code Whisperer. Okay, and this is the link for your Amazon Code Whisperer. Now the next thing the next is your Tabnine. So Tabnine also works the same as your Amazon Code Whisperer. Now it totally depends with which tool you find it interesting to work, right? These are almost the same kind of tools, right? But what fits in with your type of work, you can go with that. The next tool is blackbox.ai. Okay, so if I go and search for Blackbox AI, I just press enter. This is the link for Blackbox AI. It is also like a large language model, but it also gets integrated with your VS Code. You can see here VS Code extension. You just click here and it will, this is your VS Code extension. If you install it or you go to your VS Code and install it there, you will be able to work with Blackbox AI in your VS Code. Clear? So this, you can also, paste your code here. This is the way it has your code. You can also click and, enter, have your file attachments, or you can also have different languages here. You can see Python, HTML builder, then we have Java, JavaScript, React, Android, Flutter, and so on. We have so many, right? So this is your blackbox.ai. Clear? Right. So are you guys very happy with each and everything which I have shared with you all today? A brief about the session. We are in the starting for all the we have started with a very beginner session, like how we have to start with coding, what is programming language, how we can learn a programming language in an iterative manner, how we can build a timeline for us, okay, then how we can use this large language model to generate, okay, explain, debug, optimize, and what we learn, what else we learn, code conversion. Right? So all these things we have learned here. Clear? So this, and after that we have seen some tools like Cursor AI, then we have seen GitHub Copilot, Tabnine, Amazon Code Whisperer, Blackbox AI, right? Okay, great learning, it's mind-blowing. Thank you so much. So did you find the session interesting? Mind-blowing, yes. Okay. Now, what are the shortcomings of AI for coding? What are the shortcomings for AI for coding? See, lack of creativity. AI models are just the machines that are built on the data which we have provided to them, right? So they lack the creativity there. Okay, they will be able to build logics, but they are not creative enough to add. For example, we have created the HTML page here. Okay, but was it able to enter CSS from its own side? No, right? It didn't add any colors there. It was a very minimalistic page. As the prompt given to it, it returned us in that way, right? So it lacks creativity there. Now, secondly, it finds difficult with complex logics. So for example, if we enter something very complex text, okay, a very hard algorithm if we enter, and it's very difficult for the large language model to understand that. Okay, so what is the solution for this particular thing? You can give the problems in an step-by-step manner, okay, and with a full detail about the problem you are facing, right? So if you find difficult to understand some complex logic, okay, so you can define your purpose, what you are doing, then the code which you have, and then explaining what you have understood by your own. Okay, with that it will be easier for the large language model to understand what you are telling them, right? Then the third is debugging challenges. Okay, so for example, we have debugged a very small thing today. Okay, but debugging a large, a very large code is a challenge with large language model. Right? But yes, if you debug it with good prompts, okay, basically everything depends on the way you are prompting, right? So maintain your prompts in that way. Okay. Then the fourth is lack of human-like understanding. Obviously, human mind is required in each and every output given by the AI. Clear? I tell it each and every time that human mind is really very important for reviewing, for giving that human understanding to the output generated by the AI. Did you guys find it like important that human mind is important for the AI generated content? Yes. Do you guys find it important? Yes, right. It is really very important to have the human mind at the output of AI, right? So it lacks in human understanding. So these were some shortcomings of AI. Clear? Okay. Yeah, these shortcomings are like very very general shortcomings. If we improve the training of our LLMs, okay, for suppose if you are saying that in the near future, can these shortcomings will not overcome by training our LLMs, okay? So if we improve the training of our LLMs, then also don't you think it will lack creativity? Will it be able to think on its own and create that creativity for us? Will it be able to do so? No, right? It is it is a machine model. It basically runs on the task you build it to, right? It will not paste your mind's creativity into the output which it is generating. That can't be done with the use of AI, right? So that is the main logic behind all these things which I am telling you. I hope it's clear. Yes, great. Okay. So guys, we have come to an end of this session, and I hope you loved this session, you liked this session, and you will be now using coding using AI. Yes, and you will be using this module and working on your own. Right. Thanks for the session. Thank you so much. There's one more thing I want to share with you all, guys. But yes, thank you for the session. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for your responses. Thank you so much. Yes. It's really it's really very appreciative that you guys appreciate me a lot for this wonderful session. So thank you so much. Yes. Okay. Yes. So yeah. We are happy to hear back from you, right? So you are our valuable customers there. So we are happy to hear back the reviews from your side. Okay, so you can just scan this QR code, okay, and tell us how do you feel, okay, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, we don't worry about that. But yes, if you are really it is helping you and you are finding it interesting learning with us, so please do fill this form, okay, and please do give your testimonials here so that it will be helping us to improve in our way. Okay, so I will be sharing this link in the chat box, okay, or else you can also scan the QR code. Clear? Yes. Okay, and for all those who are giving their valuable feedback in a video testimonials, okay, we are as a token of appreciation, we are giving them Amazon gift vouchers. Right? So all those who will be filling this link and with a video testimonials, they will be getting an Amazon gift voucher from our side. Right? So if you loved the sessions, if you are loving the mastery program, or if you have any feedbacks from your side, right, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, if it's negative, we are happy to hear that also so that we can improve for you guys. Right? Thank you so much for being the valuable customer, and here is the link for everyone. I hope you have got the link. Yes? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I am waiting for 2 more minutes. right? You can save this link and you can make the video testimonials after some time also. You have the time frame till tomorrow, so you can make this video testimonial till tomorrow and post it there, and then we will be moving further, right? So thank you so much.